Okay, so our final theorist, final guy thinking about how the industrialization is changing the world, at the same time that Tönnies over in Germany was coming up with Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft, over in France, a fellow named Emile Durkheim was asking the same questions and doing the same analysis and coming up with a very similar answer as to how the world is changing, but coming to a radically different conclusion about how to think about those changes. So he didn't use the terms Gemeinschaft, Gesellschaft, because those are German. He's French. His French terms we don't actually use for some reason. We go ahead and we translate those into English. And that's ideas that we also ran across in chapter 4, very briefly. Mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity. So mechanical, that's the old pre-industrial peasant village. And organic, that's the modern industrial big city factory world that we're moving into. His analysis is very similar, although instead of Tönnies' 4 gourds, we got 3. As you can tell, I was busy harvesting gourds this morning, so they're easy at hand. But again, if you're watching on your list, you've got the notes in front of you. You'll see here a list of 3 things that go with mechanical solidarity. Once again, this idea of sameness, homogeneity. Everyone's doing the same thing. Things don't change very much. It's our peasant village, and we're all peasants going about the same stuff. So, homogeneous worlds. The next thing's a little bit different from Tönnies. It's the idea that everyone is self-sufficient in this world. Every one of those peasants in our village is engaged in subsistence agriculture. They're growing what they need to live on. They're tending to their own needs. Those few things that we can't produce ourselves are produced by someone in the village. So we're, in a way, kind of separate. We don't really need each other. Each one of us gets along fine on our own. So it's self-sufficient. And then, our final piece, automatic membership. You're born into this village. You're a peasant farmer. You will die in this village. Your place in the world is set. It doesn't change much. Nobles are born nobles. Merchants are born merchants. It's not a world of social mobility. It's not a world of change. Again, it's an automatic membership. You're just slotted in like a piece in a machine. So that's the mechanical. Again, think the world of these peasant villages that I keep talking about. But then it changes. We move to the modern world, organic solidarity. And again, you could just flip these 3 things around. Instead of homogeneous, sameness, we get differences. Just like Tönnies, Durkheim saying it's a homogeneous world, lots of different people doing lots of different things, there's lots of changes, there's lots of movement. So, heterogeneous, interdependent. Because we're doing all these different things, not everyone can do everything. The food you ate for breakfast, you didn't grow that. Quite frankly, you probably didn't cook it. If you went to the dining hall, somebody else cooked it for you, and you kind of depend on those. We call those people working in the dining hall essential workers at the college for a reason. Without them, you're going to starve. You need them. You need that lady at the Giant Eagle. You need Giant Eagle for your food because you're not growing it. You're not even growing your own decorations here. If you want these, you're going to go down to Giant Eagle and buy them. Or beg me for some because I got way too many. But we're interdependent, interconnected. That's the sense where you get in the sense of organic. Like the body, the heart doesn't exist on its own. The heart depends upon the rest of the body, and the lungs depend upon the heart, and the brain depends upon both of those. It's all interconnected. None of the pieces can get by with the others, without the others. So interdependence, and that allows for choice and membership. What community are you going to be part of? Just because your parents, your dad worked in a steel mill doesn't mean you got to. Just because your mother's a lawyer doesn't mean you're going to be a lawyer. Just because you come from Moon Township doesn't mean you have to stay in Moon Township. In fact, as a member of Robert Morris' community, well, you chose this community. There wasn't anything automatic. I mean, you had to apply, you had to get accepted, you probably had multiple choices, and that's going to continue through our lives. So, choice of membership. What groups we're part of, what communities we're part of, none of that's automatic. Okay, all of this leads to what he describes as a complex division of labor. So I've got that term, but that's really just talking about that second thing, interdependency, different communities, we pick our places. And so for Durkheim, what really distinguishes the modern world is this idea of complex division of labor. Lots of people doing all sorts of different things. We've divided up what we need to do to survive, and people specialize in different little pieces of it. Again, just like in the body, some tissue specializes in pumping blood, some specializes in perceiving light, some in analyzing those perceptions, some in moving, the skin. It's all very complex. And here's why he's calling this organic, like the body, this complex division of labor, all these organs, all these people in society dependent upon each other. Okay, it's not the same analysis as Tunney's, but you can see it kind of echoes there. Again, he's hitting on this dynamics of the world changing in key ways and moving from these small little communities where everything is the same, everyone's the same, and everything's kind of locked in, but everyone's kind of interdependent. For him, we move to these larger social groupings, the city, the neighborhood, with all the differences that come with that, and with all the different roles that need to be played out. So there's similar analysis, not identical, but similar. But here's the key. If you think about the terms, it sounds different. Again, Tunney's was pessimistic. We're losing the world of the community and moving to this cold association of strangers. But for Durkheim, we're going from this world where you're just automatically locked in. Everybody's just responsible for everything. That limits you. Automatic membership. Everyone's the same. Into a world of choice. Of complex division of labor, which means you get to choose where you're going to fit into that. Choose your communities. Change those. A world of change and differences. Whereas Tunney saw loss of community and a cold, foreign world, Durkheim sees this change as creation of freedom and choice, and a world where people can find their own ways and their own places in the world. Same starting point, same question, how's the world changing? Similar analysis, similar answers to, well, here's what's changing, but very different evaluations about what does it mean. Again, theory is explanation, but it also comes in with sort of some of the values that the theorist brings into it. Okay, so 3 sets of ideas coming out of sociologists looking at the Industrial Revolution and trying to figure it all out. And next week we'll move into putting this into specific practice. But there is 3 ways of looking at what was happening.